Welcome back to Motivated English Life. Today's episode has a slightly ridiculous name, How to Sleep 5 Hours in 15 Minutes. I know. If that were actually possible, I'd be recording this from a beach somewhere, well-rested and fabulously rich. But jokes aside, there's a real reason behind this funny title. We're talking about how to sleep smarter, not necessarily longer. Because you and I both know those mornings you sleep 8 or 9 hours, yet still wake up feeling miserable, while some people sleep only 5 or 6 and bounce out of bed like superheroes. What's going on here? How can someone sleep less but wake up better? To help me make sense of all this, I invited someone who genuinely understands the science of sleep and, well, who probably doesn't need 15 minutes for it. Please welcome Dr. Ryan Lewis, our go-to health and motivation expert.
Hi, Emma, and hi to everyone listening. I love that title, by the way. 5 hours in 15 minutes? I almost want to believe it myself.
Right? Maybe one day. For now, I'll happily take actual sleep that doesn't leave me grumpy.
Exactly, and that's the goal. Today, we're going to talk about why so many of us wake up tired, no matter how much we sleep, and what we can do about it.
Perfect. So everyone listening, grab your coffee, find a comfy spot, and let's discover how to actually feel alive in the morning, starting with something that sounds simple but really isn't, why we wake up tired in the first place. You know, Dr. Ryan, I have this problem that just won't go away. No matter how much I sleep, 6 hours, 8 hours, even 9 sometimes, I still wake up feeling like I haven't slept at all. My body's heavy, my brain's foggy, and my mood is, let's just say, not something people want to deal with before coffee. Honestly, it's starting to freak me out. Why does this happen?
Emma, don't worry, you're far from alone. What you're describing is one of the most common complaints I hear from people of every age. And interestingly, the issue usually isn't how long you sleep, it's when and how you sleep.
Okay, that already sounds deeper than I thought. What do you mean by when and how? I thought sleep was just sleep. You close your eyes and boom, you rest.
That's what most people think, but sleep is actually a complicated rhythm, not just a shutdown of your body. Our brains work through repeating patterns called sleep cycles, and those cycles decide how refreshed we feel in the morning. Each cycle lasts about 90 minutes and contains several phases. First, there's light sleep, where your body is relaxed but you can still wake up easily. Then you move into deep sleep, where your body focuses on physical recovery. Muscles heal, energy is restored. Deeper still is what we call very deep sleep, when your brain finally quiets down and your whole system is basically on maintenance mode. After that comes the most colorful phase, REM sleep. That's when your eyes move rapidly under closed lids and you start dreaming. Your brain becomes active again, processing memories, emotions, everything you experienced during the day.
So I'm basically going on a 90-minute roller coaster every night, down into deep rest, back up to dreamland, then down again?
Exactly. Imagine waves gently rising and falling. Every time one wave ends, another begins. So during the night, you go through about 5 of these waves, 5 full cycles, if you get a solid 7.5 hours of sleep.
All right, I follow. But how does this explain why I wake up tired? Because honestly, this still sounds kind of normal.
Here's where things get tricky. If your alarm rings in the middle of one of those deep phases, especially stage 3 or 4, you're essentially pulling your body out of its most restful state before it's ready. Imagine you're deep underwater, resting peacefully, and suddenly someone yanks you up to the surface. You'd be gasping, disoriented, right? That's exactly what happens when you wake up at the wrong time during a sleep cycle. Your heart rate jumps, your brain is still half dormant, your body isn't synced yet, and that's why you feel dizzy, irritated, or like you need 2 extra hours of sleep.
Oh my gosh, that's me every morning. I wake up, I'm technically awake, but mentally, I'm still somewhere under the blanket begging for 5 more years.
Exactly. It's not laziness, it's biology. You're waking up mid-cycle. You haven't reached the natural point where your body is ready to switch back on.
So, wait, it's not about sleeping more, it's about timing when I wake up?
Exactly. If you wake up at the right end of a cycle, your body's already preparing to move out of sleep. Your heart rate's rising, your brain's active, and you feel light, ready to get moving. But if your alarm goes off halfway through, everything's out of sync. That's why 6 hours can sometimes feel better than 8.
That's wild. I've always believed it's about getting enough hours. Now you're telling me I could actually sleep less and still feel better if I manage the cycles right.
Exactly. Sleep smarter, not just longer. Once you learn your body's rhythm, you can plan bedtime and wake-up time so you rise naturally, not painfully.
Okay, now I'm too curious. You said learning our rhythm. Does that mean there's an actual way to calculate it? Like an exact method?
Yes, absolutely. There's a simple 90-minute formula that can help you figure out the perfect time to wake up, even when you've gone to bed late. It's easy math, but the results are life-changing.
I'm ready for that because if math can make mornings easier, I'm finally going to respect it.
Good attitude. So let's get into that next, the exact formula to wake up at the right moment of your sleep cycle.
Perfect. I'm all ears. So, Dr. Ryan, last time you said the key is to wake up at the right point in the sleep cycle. You've got to teach me. How do I actually do that? Because I don't exactly carry a stopwatch when I sleep.
You could, but that might ruin the romance of bedtime. Here's the secret. Every full sleep cycle lasts around 90 minutes. If we stack those cycles, 3, 4, or 5 in a row, we get the total rest our body understands best. So instead of focusing on 8 hours or nothing, think in cycles.
So, it's not magic numbers, just math and rhythm. Okay, I like that. But how do I know where to set my alarm without turning into Sherlock Holmes at midnight?
Easy. We can use a little formula. In simple words, your ideal wake-up time equals your bedtime plus 1.5 hours times the number of cycles plus another 10 to 15 minutes for the time it takes you to fall asleep. That's it. Nothing fancy, just a bit of planning.
So, my high school math teacher was right. I would need math in real life.
See? Teachers always win in the end. Let's try it together. Say you go to bed at 10 p.m. You usually need about 15 minutes to fall asleep. If you want 5 full cycles, that's 7.5 hours, you add it up. 10 p.m. plus 7.5 hours equals 5:30 a.m. plus 15 minutes equals 5:45 a.m. That's your sweet spot for waking up fresh and alert.
Wait, so if I wake up at 5:45, I feel good, but if I sleep until 6:15, I might mess it up?
Exactly, because that extra 30 minutes pushes you into another cycle, and your alarm slices right through deep sleep. That's the, why did I wake up feeling we all hate.
That explains so much. I always thought more sleep meant better sleep, but now it sounds like timing trumps hours. So let's say I'm up late, maybe 1 a.m. scrolling through memes, just hypothetically.
Oh, sure, hypothetically. In that case, you can still feel decent the next morning by finishing 3 cycles. 1 a.m. plus 1.5 hours times 3 plus 15 minutes brings you to about 5:45 a.m. again. That's the rhythm. Nature doesn't care what the clock shows. It cares that you complete the cycle.
That's so satisfying. It's like matching puzzle pieces. If you end on the right piece, everything clicks into place.
Exactly. Sleep efficiency. And everyone's different. Some need 4 cycles, some thrive on 5. But here's an important rule. Never less than 3 cycles, or about 4.5 hours. Any shorter, and your body misses its deep sleep restoration. That's when even caffeine waves a white flag.
Oh no, don't tell me coffee gives up. That's tragic. All right, so minimum 3 cycles, aim for 5 if possible. Got it. But what if I wake up early and don't get up right away? Sometimes I tell myself 5 more minutes, and then suddenly it's lunchtime.
Ah, the famous snooze button trap. Everyone loves it. Everyone regrets it. Here's the problem. When you go back to sleep for just a few minutes, your brain restarts another cycle. You'll never finish it. So when the alarm hits again, you're even more tired. So, rule number 1 for healthy mornings, when you wake up completely. Turn on a light, stretch, drink water, stand by the window. Convince your brain it's daytime.
Okay, that's tough, but it makes sense. It's almost like I need to teach my body who's boss, but gently.
Exactly. You're not fighting it, you're guiding it. Give it routine, respect its rhythm, and within a few days, your body starts doing it naturally. No harsh alarms, no morning panic.
That actually sounds peaceful. Like mornings could finally be calm instead of chaotic.
They truly can be. Try this formula for a week. Just observe how your body reacts. If you record your sleep and wake times, you'll see patterns. Which bedtime gives you the best mood? Which wake-up time feels effortless?
All right, you've convinced me. I'm going to test this out tonight. And if I wake up refreshed, I'll call it the Ryan Miracle Schedule.
Deal. Just remember, it's your rhythm doing the magic. I'm only helping you find it.
Fair enough. So, everyone listening, take a moment to test this formula after the episode. In our next part, we'll go deeper into how to design your own smart sleep routine and how those cycles connect to mood and motivation.
Exactly. Sleep isn't just rest, it's energy planning. And once you plan it well, mornings stop feeling like battles.
All right, then, let's keep going with that after a short breather. All right, Dr. Ryan, we've got the math down. So now comes the real challenge, actually doing it. Because, it's easy to plan the perfect bedtime until Netflix asks, "Are you still watching?"
Exactly. That message has ruined more healthy sleep plans than coffee ever did. But you're right, the hardest part is turning theory into habit. The good news? You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent enough.
So, how do I start without feeling like I'm joining a sleep boot camp?
Start simple. For the first week, don't focus on bedtime. Focus on wake-up time. That's your anchor. Pick one time to get up every day, even weekends. Yes, even Sundays.
When your wake up time becomes stable, your body will automatically start getting sleepy at the right hour.
That actually sounds doable. Like instead of forcing bedtime, I train my body to expect mornings.
Exactly. Your brain loves rhythm. It has an internal clock called the circadian rhythm, which regulates energy, hormones, even mood. So when you wake up at the same time, you're telling that clock, this is sunrise time. Eventually, everything else, your hunger, mood, focus, starts syncing around that.
And I guess waking up to sunlight helps too, right? I feel less miserable when the room isn't dark and gloomy.
Perfect observation. Light is the master key for your circadian rhythm. If you can, open your curtains right away or step outside for 2 minutes of daylight. It shuts down your melatonin, the hormone that makes you sleepy, and starts your alertness engine. Basically, nature says good morning, and your body listens.
So my morning walk to the coffee shop actually has scientific value. I knew it wasn't just about caffeine.
Exactly. You've been doing science this whole time, Emma. Now, speaking of caffeine, that's another piece of the puzzle. Try not to drink any after midday. It can stay in your system for hours and quietly sabotage your evening rhythm.
Afternoon? Wow. So my 4 p.m. latte is basically a midnight punch to my sleep.
That's one way to picture it. It keeps your brain alert when it should be winding down. So if you want to fall asleep faster, cut caffeine earlier and replace it with water or herbal tea. Okay, that's fair. So find a consistent wake-up time, get a bit of sunlight early, and calm down the caffeine. What about before bed? I mean, sometimes I lie in bed scrolling my phone for hours, which, let's be honest, probably kills my rhythm.
Ah, yes, the doom scrolling trap. You're right. It hurts your rhythm twice. First, the blue light from your screen tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime. Second, what you read, emails, news, social feeds, keeps your mind alert. So ideally, give yourself a 30-minute no-screen zone before sleep. That time tells your brain, hey, night mode activated. Do something quiet. Read a short book, stretch your body, journal, or listen to calm music. These cues help you slide into the first cycle smoothly instead of crashing.
That actually sounds kind of nice, like tucking myself in without guilt. And it's strange. Just hearing you talk about this makes me realize how many little things I do every night that sabotage me without meaning to.
That's the beauty of awareness. Once you know why mornings feel heavy, you can change how nights begin. Sleep isn't about strict rules, it's about structure and kindness toward your own body.
Structure and kindness. That's such a good phrase. So, if I put this together, pick a steady wake up time, work backward using the 90-minute cycle, minimize caffeine after noon, avoid screens before bed, and get a little morning sunlight. That's my sleep smarter checklist, right?
Exactly. You've just built your custom sleep routine. And the moment you follow it for even a few days, you'll notice not only better mornings, but better focus, mood, and energy all day long.
Honestly, I can't wait to test this. I think for the first time, I actually understand what my body wants instead of fighting it.
That's the real win, not perfection, but understanding. Once you treat rest as important as work, success starts to feel lighter, more sustainable.
That's brilliant, Dr. Ryan. So, everyone, try this tonight. Adjust your alarm, follow your cycles, give your body a little love. In our next part, we'll see how quality sleep connects to your mood and productivity, because feeling rested is only the beginning.
Exactly. Rest fuels everything you do. Once you master how to sleep, you master how to live.
Well said. Let's jump into that next. You know, Dr. Ryan, while we've been talking about sleep cycles and routines, I keep thinking we usually treat sleep like a box to check off, but you make it sound like it actually shapes how we feel about the entire day. Am I reading that right?
You're exactly right. Sleep and emotion are tightly connected. When you rest well, your brain balances the chemicals that control happiness and stress. But when you don't, those same chemicals, serotonin, dopamine, cortisol, go off beat. That's why lack of sleep doesn't just make you tired, it makes you short-tempered, anxious, sometimes hopeless for no reason.
That explains so much. Whenever I don't sleep well, everything annoys me. One tiny email mistake and I'm ready to move to another planet. It's weird how being tired changes your character.
Exactly. It's not because you've turned evil overnight, you've just turned sleep-deprived. There's a little spot in your brain called the amygdala that handles fear and anger. When you're low on rest, it becomes extra sensitive. Meanwhile, the logical part, the prefrontal cortex, gets weaker. So instead of responding calmly, you react quickly. Balancing that takes proper sleep, not extra willpower.
Interesting. So basically, rest makes you emotionally smarter. That's wild. Like sleep is a hidden self-control tool.
Exactly right. When you sleep, you refuel patience, creativity, even empathy. And those things affect everything: work, relationships, learning. Think about it. When you're rested, you can listen better, solve problems faster, and make kinder decisions.
I totally feel that. Sometimes, after a decent night, even boring tasks feel lighter. But after a bad one, the simplest email feels impossible.
That's because good sleep refreshes your reward system. Your brain literally rewires positive connections overnight. People who sleep well actually see opportunities faster. They feel more motivated because their mind expects good outcomes.
You know, Dr. Ryan, while we've been talking about sleep cycles and routines, I keep thinking we usually treat sleep like a box to check off, but you make it sound like it actually shapes how we feel about the entire day. Am I reading that right?
You're exactly right.
Sleep and emotion are tightly connected. When you rest well, your brain balances the chemicals that control happiness and stress. But when you don't, those same chemicals, serotonin, dopamine, cortisol, go off beat. That's why lack of sleep doesn't just make you tired, it makes you short-tempered, anxious, sometimes hopeless for no reason.
That explains so much. Whenever I don't sleep well, everything annoys me. One tiny email mistake, and I'm ready to move to another planet. It's weird how being tired changes your character.
Exactly. It's not because you've turned evil overnight, you've just turned sleep-deprived. There's a little spot in your brain called the amygdala that handles fear and anger. When you're low on rest, it becomes extra sensitive. Meanwhile, the logical part, the prefrontal cortex, gets weaker. So instead of responding calmly, you react quickly. Balancing that takes proper sleep, not extra willpower.
Interesting. So basically, rest makes you emotionally smarter. That's wild. Like sleep is a hidden self-control tool?
Exactly right. When you sleep, you refuel patience, creativity, even empathy. And those things affect everything: work, relationships, learning. Think about it. When you're rested, you can listen better, solve problems faster, and make kinder decisions.
I totally feel that. Sometimes, after a decent night, even boring tasks feel lighter. But after a bad one, the simplest email feels impossible.
That's because good sleep refreshes your reward system. Your brain literally rewires positive connections overnight. People who sleep well actually see opportunities faster. They feel more motivated because their mind expects good outcomes.
So, optimism is partly biological? That's incredible. It's not that positive people are magical, it's that their brains are well rested.
Exactly. Sleep creates optimism. Pessimism is often just exhaustion wearing a serious face. And it's the same for focus and memory. During REM sleep, the dream stage, your brain organizes everything you've learned through the day. It takes the chaos of experiences and files it neatly. So when you wake up rested, you think clearer and remember more.
Okay, that's it. Good sleep officially beats coffee and motivational quotes combined. No wonder I sometimes feel extra smart after a good night and totally lost after staying up late.
See, sleep is your brain's free upgrade, just one night away. And it's sustainable. You don't crash afterward. That's why I tell my clients, protecting your rest is the easiest form of self-improvement there is.
I like that. We protect our money, we protect our phones with a case, but we barely protect our energy, and that's what powers everything else.
Exactly. Energy is more valuable than time, because without energy, time is useless. So when you treat sleep as an investment, every other part of life benefits: performance, confidence, creativity, relationships.
I love that perspective. Sleep as an investment, not a luxury. Okay, you've officially changed the way I see bedtime. So, Dr. Ryan, how do we keep these habits going when life gets messy? Deadlines, traveling, stress, real life.
That's the next challenge, protecting your sleep even when the world doesn't help. Because good routine doesn't depend on perfection, it depends on awareness. Let's talk about that next.
Perfect. Let's jump straight into staying consistent, because if we can sleep well and live normally, that's the real win. All right, Dr. Ryan. I love everything we've talked about so far, the science, the cycles, the moods. But now comes the hard part, reality. Because sometimes life just doesn't listen to formulas. Deadlines happen, stress happens, friends text you at midnight. So, how can anyone actually stick to these habits when life gets messy?
That question alone shows you get it, Emma. Because good sleep isn't about perfection, it's about recovery. We all have chaotic nights, projects, family, emotions. It's normal. The goal isn't to never stay up late, it's to know how to return to balance the next day.
So, it's okay to break the rule occasionally, as long as we bounce back?
Exactly. Think of your sleep like a relationship. You'll have bad days, but the magic lives in getting back on track. If you sleep late tonight, wake up just a little later tomorrow, then rebuild gradually. Use power naps wisely, 10 to 30 minutes, not more, to refill focus. And at night, come back to the basics: dim lights, softer thoughts, slower mood. You're reminding the brain, hey, we're safe again.
That's comforting. Because sometimes the guilt after staying up late feels worse than the tiredness itself. Dr. Ryan?
Exactly. And guilt ruins rest faster than caffeine. Forgive yourself. Use what you learned. That's actual self-discipline. Being fair to yourself while still restarting the pattern. And you know what's funny? When people fix their sleep, their discipline in other areas usually improves too. Because the brain that's rested makes better decisions everywhere: food, work, exercise, even words.
So basically, sleep makes me a better person. Maybe next time I overreact, I'll just say, sorry, I'm not emotionally charged, I'm just underslept.
You'd be surprised how true that is. Half of our bad moods are just bad rest in disguise. But yes, sleep helps with everything: self-control, patience, gratitude. You can't pour energy into life if you never refill the container.
I like that. You can't pour from an empty cup. So really, rest isn't wasting time. It's recharging the battery that runs everything else.
Exactly. Productivity starts in the pillow, not the planner. Once you treat sleep as a partner instead of an obstacle, your days transform. And maybe that's the deeper meaning of our funny title: How to Sleep 5 Hours in 15 Minutes. You can't literally do that, but you can learn the secret of sleeping less and living more through rhythm, awareness, and respect for yourself.
That's true. The title finally makes sense now. And I think this conversation just turned me from a sleep when I'm dead person into a sleep so I can live better one.
I love hearing that, because when you protect your rest, you protect your purpose. You show up for your goals, not as a sleepy version of yourself, but as the full one.
So, to everyone listening, try this tonight. Not the 15-minute miracle, but the real thing. Calculate your cycles, turn off the screens, and wake up on your body's side. Then notice how your mornings change. Not overnight, but gradually, kindly.
Exactly. Sleep well, live brighter. You deserve mornings that welcome you, not punish you.
Beautifully said, Dr. Ryan. And thank you so much for sharing this with us today. All right, friends, that's it for this episode of Motivated English Life. Remember our not-so-scientific episode title, How to Sleep 5 Hours in 15 Minutes, and let it remind you to rest smarter, not longer. See you next time, and until then, sleep kindly, wake up ready.